In Abuja, Nigeria's capital, wealth is both a statement and necessity. The spoiled mansions in Asokoro, the posh restaurants in Wuse, and the glitzy nightlife of Maitama gives the city a glittering facade of luxury and success. But beneath the glamour, many navigate a precarious balance between perception and reality, caught in the web of maintaining appearances. Three young professionals, Zainab, Bashir, and Rahama, have mastered this delicate art. Each of them present the world with an image of affluence and sophistication, but behind their designer clothes and luxury cars, they struggle to keep up with the demands of a city meant for the wealthy. Zainab, the perfect socialite. Zainab was born into a middle-class family in Kano, but Abuja transformed her. Tall, light-skinned, and striking, she became a familiar face at Abuja's high-end events. Her Instagram feed was a curated gallery of designer outfits, expensive vacations, and lavish parties, earning her tens of thousands of followers. To her fans, she was living the dream. In reality, Zainab's life was far from perfect. She worked a 9 to 5 job as an administrative assistant in a government agency, earning just enough to cover her basic bills. But her online persona required more, far more. Her wardrobe was borrowed from friends and sourced from counterfeit markets, skillfully altered to look expensive. Her luxury vacations were staged with photo shoots in fancy hotel lobbies or by poolside she couldn't afford to swim in. Zainab was exhausted by this constant act, but she had no choice. She was already in too deep. Her greatest fear was being exposed in a city where connection and reputation mattered more than qualifications. She knew that one slide up could ruin her. Every day, she battled the anxiety of maintaining her image while keeping her reality hidden from the high society she had infiltrated. Bashir came to Abuja from Zaria with big dreams. He wasn't born rich, but he was determined to live like the people he saw on TV. After studying business management at Ahmadu Bello University, he secured a job in an oil and gas company. Well, that's what he told everyone. In truth, Bashir's job was more of a glorified assistant role. The money was decent, but it wasn't enough to support his taste for luxury. His Range Rover, leased. His Maitama apartment, paid for by his older, wealthier cousin, who wanted a young relative close by for occasional errands. Bashir understood power of appearances and leveraged it. Abuja's elite cycle required confidence, and Bashir had it in spades. He became known as the connect guy, the one who could get you into exclusive parties, introduce you to influential people, and hook you up with lucrative business ideas. He attended every high-profile event, always dressed to the nines, always arriving in his blacked-out range. He knew how to blend in with the wealthy, but deep down, Bashir was running on fumes. His only side hustle, reselling expensive gadgets and acting as a middleman in business deals, barely kept him afloat, yet he couldn't stop. The alternative, fading into obscurity, terrified him. The Range Rover needed maintenance, the apartment needed rent, and the lifestyle required a constant influx of cash. It was a game, and Bashir was determined to keep playing no matter the cost. Meet Rahama, the new Abuja big girl. Rahama had moved to Abuja after graduating from Bayero University, Kano. Unlike Zainab and Bashir, she had come from a comfortable, though not wealthy, background. Her father was a successful businessman in Kano and her family lived well. But in Abuja, where status was measured by luxury, her family's middle-class lifestyle felt inadequate. Rahama worked as a marketing executive for a tech company, earning a decent salary, but she wanted more. Abuja had a way of making you feel small unless you owned a brand new iPhone, drove the latest model of SUV, and dined at upscale restaurants. She began hanging out with Zainab, who introduced her to the glamorous world of Abuja's social scene. Rahama was captivated. She quickly adopted the big girl lifestyle, but unlike Zainab, she wasn't as careful with her spending. She began to live off credit, charging her luxury purchases to credit cards and taking loans she couldn't repay. The debt piled up. She felt invincible, intoxicated by the attention and the validation she received from her new circle of friends. One night at a high-end club in Wusetu, Rahma found herself at a table surrounded by some of the city's wealthiest people. They ordered back to back. One of them, Anjuma, took a particular interest in her. He was a businessman in his early 40s with connections to politicians and oil tycoons. To Rahma, he was everything she had been searching for, a ticket to the life she craved. Anjuma lavished her with gifts, sending her a brand new iPhone and covering her rent for months. But soon the demands began. He wanted more than just her company. He expected her to be at his beck and call, to drop everything when he summoned. Rahma was trapped, torn between the life she had built and the moral lines she had promised never to cross. The three friends were bound by their secrets and their shared desperation to maintain the illusion of success, but the weight of their lives began to unravel their lives. For Zainab, it started with a scandal. A well-known influencer exposed her on social media, accusing her of wearing fake designer outfits. The post went viral, and in an instant, her carefully curated image began to crumble. Brands that had once collaborated with her distanced themselves, and the invitations to high-profile events dried up. Zainab was left scrambling, unable to recover from the damage. Bashir's downfall came in the form of a business deal gone wrong. A high-stake contract he had helped broker fell through, and the wealthy man he had promised returns to were furious. His Range Rover was repossessed, and his cousin, tired of Bashir's growing debt, asked him to leave the apartment. Bashir found himself couch surfing with friends, the glamorous life he had once lived, now a distant memory. Rahama, caught in Anjuma's web, spiraled into depression. She no longer had control over her life, her decisions dictated by a man who saw her as nothing more than an accessory. And finally, when she broke things off with him, he retaliated by cutting off all financial support, leaving her drowning in debt. The credit collector started calling, and her once pristine reputation was tarnished as word spread about her situation. In the end, Abuja taught the trio a harsh lesson. The cost of living a fake life is more than financial. It exacts an emotional and psychological toll, leaving scars that runs deep. For Zainab, Bashir and Rahma, the city they once thought held their dreams had turned into a nightmare. Humbled, they began to rebuild their lives, this time with a commitment to authenticity. Zainab started a fashion business, embracing her love for style but within her means. Bashir moved back to Zaria, where he started a modest business that catered to his local community. Rahama, after clearing her debt with the help of her family, pursued a master's degree, focusing on a career path that would give her stability. Abuja, with its glitz and glamour, continued to dazzle, but the trio had learned that beneath its shine, true success wasn't about appearance, but about staying grounded in who you really are. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this. Thank you.